Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Heart and Chutzpah podcast. I'm so glad that you're listening in. Today, I'm really excited to have a dear friend of mine with us, Harriet Tubman Wright. Hello, Harriet.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're excited about this. And to introduce Harriet is the author of Releasing Stress Creating Serenity. She has been empowering thousands of women, mature spiritual women, to express their creative essence and their leadership capacity since 1971. As a result, these women experience more joy, balance, and success as entrepreneurs and executives, and they help transform businesses, organizations, and communities to heal our world. Just so necessary. It just gives me chills to share that with people. Especially for the women who are stressed and frustrated doing unfulfilling work, Harriet helps them to really learn to express their true essence and share their soul-aligned gifts to serve others and share doing what they really love.
Mm-hmm.
Harriet has 2 master's degrees and has spent her whole lifetime committed to mastery and service. Harriet brings elder wisdom and inspiration that shifts perspectives and changes lives. So again, welcome, Harriet. Thank you so much for being with me. And our listeners.
Thank you. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share stories, to share wisdom, to share what I hope will be some very helpful tips. And so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, great. As I said, I've known Harriet. We were just thinking it's coming on 15 years, so for quite some time. And one of the things that Harriet Tubman Wright, I've always sort of assumed there was a backstory to that, but I've never asked. So I will be listening, perked up ears to find out more about this. So would you mind sharing it? Because Harriet Tubman Wright, I mean, you took the name of a very influential woman.
Thank you. I was born Harriet Yvonne Wright. And a lot of times when I would say my name, I would say like Tubman. Otherwise, they'd call me, oh, hi, Helen. Oh, hi, Hazel. Hi, Henrietta. But if I said Harriet like Tubman, they tended to remember. And during the time that I worked with the city of Oakland, there was an incident that occurred. And then, I knew that I wanted to do my business and I was doing it on the side part-time. But something happened and I'd said, you know what? These people don't even know who I am. I am really sending in my retirement papers this time. And I did that and I retired. And in my mind, it meant now I have left the plantation and therefore I am taking the business name Harriet Tubman Wright. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. Because it does make a difference. And to get people like, this is important in to me. Your work is so important, and to have a powerful connotation of something that was super influential.
Oh, yes. I used to do talks about Harriet Tubman because, her commitment to freedom, her commitment to liberation, her commitment to service, all of those things, those qualities are really, really important. And in the work I do as the Right Resort, it is about freeing people to be who they were born to be and to do what you're born to do.
Right.
And so in that way, it really reinforces the work that I believe in, the ways that I serve mature women, it is absolutely about freeing ourselves to be who we are meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Just had this sense, it's like Harriet Tubman is smiling down on you. And in a way, you're carrying on her message about, this liberation of
Mhm, mhm.
women, particularly women who have been in unfulfilling careers and work that they don't love, and they've got all these gifts that they don't get to share. So not unlike being on the plantation, like,
No, I mean, I'm grateful for my pension, but at the same time, I've, anyway, I do feel her spirit. I
mm,
absolutely feel her spirit, and I know that there are others, who for whom she is a role model.
yeah, beautiful. Um, so that probably, you've given us a hint of what might have inspired you to specialize in helping mature women transition from these unfulfilling jobs to what they could be, what could, be mm, more of their life story.
Mhm.
So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, I've been that girl.
Yeah.
I've been that woman. And no matter what work I was doing, I was always involved in these extracurricular activities. So I'd go to the adult school and take calligraphy. I mean, I was always doing these other things,
Yeah.
after work or the weekend that were nurturing and nourishing and really, um, with my creative talents. When I used to sew my own clothes and model. I used to play violin. I used to dance, all of these things. And so those are important. So I was that girl. And therefore I've been around other women who were just lugging along to a job, because that's, whether it was in the public sector, whether it was in the corporate sector, wherever, but something that they felt they had to do, but something they didn't love doing, and therefore they were frustrated, stressed, underutilized, and longing for something different, but not knowing how to escape, so to speak, or
Right.
not understanding that it was important, and it is important that we come to the planet with gifts, with skills, with talents. And if we're going to be whole and healthy, it is important that we share those gifts and talents, and be appropriately compensated,
Mm,
whether compensated financially, compensated spiritually, compensated, just in the joy of serving others from that wellspring of vitality that you have
yeah.
when you are in your essence.
Mm, mm, yeah. And of course, I love that, the word essence. It just to me, it speaks volumes. It's like, this is who we are and who we've been created to be. And I know it's a little dramatic, but sometimes I just get the sense it's almost a sin to not be all that you were created to be, to not share those gifts. And
I hear what you're saying, and uh you don't do anyone credit by shriveling up and holding on and not stepping into, and particularly at this time when there are so many challenges in this country and in other countries,
right.
and in the world. And I always say, Mother Earth and Mother Nature are going to be here. The question is whether humanity is going to be here. And so what is our role as women, talented, gifted, courageous, liberated women, what is our role to support others, to guide others, to lead others, to create the kind of transformation or the kinds of changes within our community, within our business, within our organization, so that your staff, your colleagues are are glowing,
Yes.
glowing with talent and resources and leadership. I mean, this, for me, this is a magnificent vision that is possible here and now and necessary here and now.
Yeah.
You know, if for no other thing but our children and grandchildren and great grandchildren, who in fact, I believe, have more, you know, in indigenous cultures, we say 7 generations. They really have more to consider than those of us who may be on the mature end of things.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
So that means we get to work together because they
Mhm.
certainly bring a different skill set. We bring our wisdom and experience, and together, hey, that's a team,
Yes.
a winning team.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so, so how do women, I know you have so many gifts, and in what way do you love to work with other women to be able to, I guess it feels like dig deep to find out what they really do want to express? A lot of other.
Well, there are, you know, I use a lot of my creativity.
Mhm.
When I was doing live events, of course, things have been virtual in recent years, but I would ask everyone to bring an object for the altar. Then it would depend on the theme. Maybe this was a self-care situation, so self-care focus, and so bring an altar and bring something for the altar, and we would create an altar. And other times we would bring things to create a vision board. And
Mhm.
so always, if the theme was women's leadership, items that represent that on the altar. So the altar becomes the focal point, but it also contains something of each person.
Yeah.
And so we're creating community, so to speak. We're creating a container for that. That's one of the things. And of course, I don't know everything. I absolutely call on others to share their wisdom, to share their perspective. And so it becomes a very enriching experience, because some of these women may not even know each other before, but we certainly know each other after we've had this kind of experience together, and you see what you have in common, and then you see what your unique gifts are, and how can we collaborate, how can we move forward in community, because that, in my mind, is the only way. There's no such thing as the one leader anymore. I mean, there are people who think that, but that's not really
Right.
not what time it
Yeah.
is.
And it really, it takes the village. We are not, you know, we are not alone, and we can't think we are, because we need one another. And I just
Well,
wanted to mention about the um, gathering a group of women. I remember the time that I went down to Oakland, and um, this group, the only person I knew there was you. And so I got to meet, I think, 20 other women, and it was just the altar that was built and sharing with one another. It was just, I just think about it, and it brings chills still. It was just amazing. That,
Mm,
yeah,
mm, mm.
yeah, yeah. And you have,
Thank you. And that's the unique part of it, you know, I mean, and I know everybody has their style, their technique, their procedure, but that again, bringing the creativity forward, because I know that that is my essence, even though I have, and I have other skills, but so does everybody else. And that's the point. You have innate talents, innate skills. You have skills that you develop because you went to school or you went to this, that, and the other. But we all have gifts, and it is our responsibility and our pleasure to share those gifts in moving forward together.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you touched on it. It's like there's a joy when we're sharing, when we recognize those gifts and we just get to share them, and there's just magic, it's magic, it's essence, it's
Mhm, mhm. You
amazing.
definitely feel the energy. You definitely
Yes.
feel the energy, and you leave that environment changed from how you came to that. And for you to say, "Oh, I remember, and it was so many years ago," and still have that really um
Joy.
joyful experience with it.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Um, so I sort of want to stick with that, but there are some things that what makes it so challenging for women in particular um, what do they face when they've been feeling stuck and unfulfilled, and they know there's something more? Um, what are the challenges that they face, do you think?
Well, I think that sometimes there's a lack of confidence to
Mm.
step out to something different. Sometimes.
Heart and chutzpah. It takes heart and chutzpah. Sorry.
No,
I just had to
no, and
throw it
I'm
in because
glad
it's
you
like,
said the pronunciation, because I was pronouncing it differently. But yeah, a lack of confidence, a lack of support. And face it, people deal with age and race discrimination. All of those are factors that sometimes we let get in the way or keep us stuck and stressed and frustrated. So it is a matter sometimes of having a mentor or a coach, a cheerleader, a guide who can support you, guide you, be with you to take those first steps toward what it is you think. You may not know what it is. You just know that that is not
that's
it.
not it. Right.
And so, taking that journey together and discovering, oh, yeah, because for a very long time I wanted to be Nina Simone. I wanted to learn
Oh,
to play the piano. And of course, I learned to play violin instead, but I was first violin, and oh, I could not sing. But we all have these role models or people that we really admire, and those kinds of things can be, you don't have to be jealous. They juice you up. If she can do it, I can do it. And when we work in partnership, in collaboration, in community, it's just like coming to a potluck. Everybody brings their own thing, and it's put on the table, and everybody gets to enjoy.
mm,
That's that. And so that's the energy that you want to create. You bring yours, I bring mine, she brings hers, and look at the feast of skills, of talents, of gifts. And now that, and then you are supported in developing that confidence. So when I first started this work, there were, I kept saying mature women, and I'm thinking women in their 60s or 70s. Well, these were women in their 40s that are
mm,
now in their 60s, But, I did this program around prosperity. It was a 6 week, and then they said, well, what's next? So I
Mhm.
had to create a part two. And then many of them became my private clients, VIP clients thereafter. Um, so again, creativity is is a good quality. And so stretching our thinking and being, developing that confidence with support is part of the key to moving to a destination that may yet be to be defined. You just know it's not here.
Yeah.
Going.
Yes. Yes.
And make joy, have joy in the process, in taking those steps, because you're not taking them alone.
Right.
um and I think in partnership, again, in partnership and collaboration, that really is the way that we move forward, each bringing your own unique gift.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you speak about the confidence, I know I have been timid a lot of my life, and to sometimes the idea of stepping out and finding, you know, in stepping into the unknown,
Mhm,
it requires confidence, and having a mentor, having someone, the cheerleader or the coach or
mhm,
you know,
mhm, mhm,
the
mhm.
hand that holds the
Absolutely,
other, to,
absolutely.
yeah, just sample this, and what, what kind of exploring, what gives you joy? What are the breadcrumbs that light you up? It's like,
Well, as you say this, I think of Harriet Tubman, and the things that she had learned from her father in terms of knowing nature and the herbs, and depending on where the bark, the feel of the bark, that would tell her the direction they were going, because they were
Mhm.
going at night. And she used to have she had been hit as a young, so she'd have these sleeping spells, she
Yeah,
would fall out. And so, people are with her, and people with babies, and she would give them something to be quiet. But if anybody acted like they didn't want to go forward, she'd have that rifle, and she'd say, look, you're gonna be free up north, or you're gonna be free right now, but you're not going back. And so that's the way I feel about women who, you want to move forward, and you have help and support, and that what's back there is not helping you, is not making you happy. And so, yes, courage, confidence, community, all of those things are
yeah,
essential to get to that destination. And knowing that it's different, and I'm going to make the most of it with who I am and what I have to give
yeah,
to the world.
yeah. And with each step, you do get a little more confidence, and it becomes more exciting, that it's what is it that's drawing you forward?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Um, I know that you have a gift to share, and I'd love to have you speak a little bit about it, because I know, again, being someone who gets a little timid, and you're trying to do something that requires bravery. We need to learn how to really care for ourselves. So I know you have a gift for the listeners, and it will be posted in the show notes. Would you
Okay,
like
well,
to share about that?
it well, it's the right resort, your soul safari to success, which is the name of my business, but it's 5 essential tools to lead the revolution toward love, light, and liberation, a spiritual guide for
Mm.
change makers. And what I taught, it is a journey, and we talk about self-care at home, self-care in the workplace.
Yeah.
We talk about soul care, and soul care is those
Oh,
gifts, inside.
yes.
I also talk about sacred ritual. And because I mean, brushing our teeth is a ritual. We may not consider it sacred, but that's an idea of a ritual. But the importance of sacred ritual. I also talk about expressive arts, and specifically person-centered expressive arts. And in the last section, guidance, how moving forward. And so again, this is the cover of it, and you notice that it's a butterfly with
Yes.
the chakras. And of course, for me in my logo, the butterfly is a symbol of transformation.
Yes.
It is a keen symbol of transformation. And yet in our world now, they're talking about the monarchs are disappear, so um the butterfly is an important symbol for me, and I think the butterfly is just something that we can appreciate as a symbol of transformation.
Yes.
And of course, the chakras. Uh,
Yeah.
for those who know more about it than I do, I know right now the time for the heart chakra. I mean, it's about love. And that's why I say love, light, and liberation, because, if we're going to be here, we have to be here in peace. We have to be here in justice. We have to be here in balance and harmony, um, righteousness. All of these things are essential. And I think, again, it is the women who bring those qualities and bring that capacity to co-create that kind of now. Not, I mean, I say the future, but it's essential now if we're going to have a future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know a lot about the astrology and all of the other
Mhm,
things that are happening,
mhm,
but the fact that we just we know we just we know that
mhm,
love and peace and
mhm,
cooperation, community, all
mhm,
of these things, and again, the heart, the
mhm,
love, and the
mhm,
chutzpah, the
mhm,
confidence and the bravery to
mhm, mhm,
do different things. And that's it. That really is one thing that I just love about you, Harriet. It's like you to me, you feel like you're on the forefront of doing this work. When you speak about elder work and,
mhm,
sharing the elder wisdom,
mhm.
I don't hear a lot about that, but I always hear it from you. And I'm just really appreciative because, you know, we're all aging, day by day. So
It's interesting because in this culture, I mean, in this culture, I think of the Jewish culture, you have the bat mitzvah and the bar mitzvah, at adolescence, and indigenous cultures also, take the boys and they've got to do this, but in this culture, when you become a senior, you get an art card, and we get some discounts. And
mhm,
I'm happy for this. I always ask for the senior discount. I always let people know this gray ain't Clairol.
yes.
So my point is that we are not always held in esteem in this culture. And therefore, it's really important that we have a kind of rites of passage as elders to assume our rightful position as storytellers, as wisdom keepers, as guides, etc. Um, this is essential, and this is, and when I think of the younger generations, those are in their 20s and 30s, I think they bring some gifts and skills that we don't have. But when we come together, get out of the way.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's like everything working together in harmony, in peace, in harmony, and not
Absolutely,
um,
absolutely. No, those peace and harmony and order and balance and justice, all of this is essential for our now and our future.
Yes. Yeah,
So it's an exciting opportunity.
it is. It is. So I really thank you for spending time with me and sharing your wisdom with our listeners. And yeah, just thank you so much for being here. Thank you, listeners, for listening in. Please take time to subscribe and rate this episode. We love that. And again, thank you so much for being listeners of the Heart and Chutzpah podcast. Thank you. Many blessings to all of you. Bye for now.